Hey everybody, I am at my drop for the paper rolls in Baxter Springs, Kansas. It's kind of rural here, small country town, real small. I'm at my drop. I'll show you. Let's see if I can I flip that? I don't think I can. I don't think I can flip it. There's a big old Kansas truck. There's my drop right there. I trust you can see that. Probably looks far away. But I went in there. They're not open till Monday. There was a car there. I was gonna go knock on the door and just ask if I could leave my trailer there so that I could PC. And the guy there's like, "Oh, I'll be the one unloading you. Maybe I can just unload you today." I was like, "That'd be super." So I am a little pinched for time as far as getting to my next pickup, 20 miles away, going to Denver. Yeah, I was like, that would be super. But he called his boss, and his boss is like, no. So then he said, well, can he leave his trailer here? And his boss said, well, there's a pad outside. Have him leave it there. So here's the pad. I'm walking around on it, a little muddy. But there's old Bessie. And there's the trailer. Great Dane trailer. Yeah, Bessie's dirty. I'll tell you what, Bessie is dirty, as you can see. Well, maybe you can't see. That's fine if you can't see how dirty she is. But yeah, so like I said, I've been running my numbers. I can talk about those a little bit, but I like to run everything really conservative. I am not a high risk guy. I'm a conservative guy, and conservatives taking on a lot of meetings with the modern political structure and stuff. But conservative to me, I mean, is simple. It means conserve. So I like savings, but in the current economic environment, trash is cash. And if you're gonna save cash for any length of time, you better be expecting to lose some purchasing power on it, if not a lot. But that's what I'm doing. I was looking at my figures. I invested $48,000 of our savings to get this thing off the ground. That was $7,000 down payment on Bessie, $60,000 loan from the bank, $14,000 in cash for the 2009 Great Dane food grade paper spec trailer. $15,000 operational money going off the right off the bat. So what is that? That's 21 plus 15 is 36, and between, I think it was insurance, all the goodies for the truck, all the other miscellaneous expenses, made up another 12. And that was to get me comfortable. I rolled out with a Garmin GPS, operational APU, microwave, hot plate. I'm trying to think of what else. Maybe 48 is a bit high for my initial start, but maybe not. I have to look at those numbers again. So anyway, talking about cost per mile, cost per day. I've seen lots of figures on both of those. But if I'm going to run those numbers, I want to make sure I am including everything. I've seen those metrics done with truck payment, trailer payment, insurance. Sometimes they add fuel cost, average fuel cost. Sometimes they don't, and they just figure that per trip and try and get that extra money per trip. And that's about it. Oh, and then driver pay. So if you're an authority like me, you got to figure your household expenses. What those are is a fixed cost. I've seen guys run household expenses as just the mortgage. To me, household expenses is everything I put in every month. In our family, we run an every dollar budget. We're not Dave Ramsey Nazis, but the program's not a bad program. It's $10 a month to have it, and it works out pretty good. You add your expenses in, or excuse me, you link your credit cards to it, and so that's obviously right off the bat not Ramsey's motto, but if you pay your credit card off every month, or like me 3 times a month, every time I get online, I'm doing my books or whatever, I just go in and just pay my balance. If you do that, then I don't care what the interest rate is. The interest rate could be 50%, because it doesn't matter to me unless I'm in a bind, and I try not to be in a bind. So anyway, you just pay your balance, right? So with that being said, oh, look at that. Looks like my hub's leaking. Can you see that? I think that's a little grease coming out, a little oil coming out of there. Let's look at the other one. The other one's dirty, but there's no oil there, and there is oil here. We should pop that cap and get a look at it. Let's look on the other side. Anyway, as far as, yeah, the other side's dirty too, but it doesn't look like it's leaking. But as far as, yeah, interest rates, who cares, right? Have the money, pay it off. Cash is king. So yeah, you link your credit cards to it. When you go into to look at your budget, every expense that you made on the credit card is there, and you drag it into the appropriate category, and you build your categories. There's some guidelines there, but you build it, and the idea is you allocate every dollar of your income to a category. One of those categories could be savings, life insurance, food, rent, mortgage, school expenses. We have school expenses. We're a dirt bike family, so we have dirt bike category. And every month, a certain percent. We have auto breakdown, auto insurance. We pay our auto insurance once a year and get the discount there. So we allocate money to those expenses every month. And yeah, you drag them into their categories. Now, I don't see maybe when drivers are doing their home expenses, they're adding those in. And if that's the case, then they've got way lower home expenses than I do. But when the car breaks down, when the car needs tires, when the kid wants to go to basketball camp, I want to have that money. I don't want to say, oh, well, we got to figure out a way to do it. So with those things all being said, my home expenses are $1,000 a week, which after taxes is 52 grand a year, right? So whether I'm working or not, I got to bring in $1,000 a week. Now, if I was an employee, you're talking about a $70,000 a year employee. So that is that's not a shabby amount of money. That is what I made before I started this, and that's not why I came out here, was to make a ton of money. But it would be nice to make a ton of money. I think that should be all of our goals. But frankly, I don't want to give goals to other people, but it is certainly my goal to make as much money as I can with as little effort in as short amount of time as can be done. Again, not why I came out here, but I did see this as a way to get out of the job that was sucking the soul right out of my body, and transition into something that I had experience with, and where the income was going to be similar, so we didn't have to take a big hit on the income. I went with my own authority because I didn't have a logbook. I didn't have any OTR experience. So I was either going to be stuck in a closet with some dude for a month or however long, and then be company guy making about the same, if not probably less than I make now, with being dispatched. Yeah, and I didn't see it. So to me, the thing to do was, well, and I wanted to be a business owner. There's tremendous tax advantages to being a business owner. I shouldn't say tremendous, but there are definitely tax advantages to being a business owner without even bending the books. Everybody in the house is an employee, so they need cell phones. That's a non-taxable event, but I need to talk to my employees. The kids work for me, and they can earn, I think it's up to $12,000 a year, which they don't, but they can earn up to $12,000 a year under 18 for a family business and not have to do taxes. So, they can buy a lot of their own stuff as long as they work, and they're scheduled and they work. As long as they work for the company, they can do a lot of their own stuff and fund it themselves. And again, those are expenses off of the business, which happen before a taxable event. So those are benefits. Now, I'm not a tax attorney. I'm not a CPA. I can't give advice. I'm just reciting what I've heard from the CPAs that I've used. So, and tax law is changing all the time. So, depending on when you're listening to this, it may be different. But, yeah. So those were my motivations to do this. So there was also an event too where I had to walk away from the job, put together all the loose ends of the authority, the truck, and start to make money. So there was a time lapse there too, and that had to be financed as well. That's probably another portion of the money that I was not coming up with as I ran over my initial investment. Now you can do it with less. However, I'm going to get a little bit more into the meat of my numbers and into my cost per day and my cost per mile. However, the higher your operational costs, the more you got to work, the less chance of success you're going to have. And again, you have that other factor weighing against you too, which is if it's going to take you a long time to save up cash and you're going to do it slow, well, that cash that you're saving is going to be losing value every day. Inflation is a real thing. The Fed has been printing upwards of $80 billion a month. And this is we're at the end of January 2020. This has been going on for months. Like anything, if there's a lot of trucks on the road, the price that you have to pay for a truck is low. If there's a few trucks on the road, the price you have to pay to get one of those trucks is high. So it really is as simple as supply and demand. If there's a lot of dollars in existence, the value of those dollars or the power that they have in the marketplace is low. And if there's little, the power that they have is high. And there's more and more dollars every day. Now, we haven't had huge price changes in the market, but that I think is more due to the fact that it's getting bound up in assets like the stock market and housing and things that aren't readily exchanged. But I also believe that those have to come out into circulation, and when they do, we're going to see prices go up a whole lot faster than they have been going up. So again, back to the business model. If you're going to take your time and build up cash, I would suggest you find a vehicle. If it's going to take you, say over a year, you find a vehicle to do that where you can get at least some appreciation on your money, and that whatever you're using is a very secure source to do it. So, a certificate deposit at a bank, it can be pretty secure. Make sure you read all the fine print in that. A treasury can be pretty secure, historically speaking. There's lots of short-term treasuries. You can buy a pickup truck along the way. If you think it's going to hold its value, and sell it. That's a lot more legwork to pull something like that off. You can buy gold or silver on eBay. Silver is quite a bit more volatile as far as price, but particularly gold. So you could buy pieces of gold on eBay. You could get yourself a gold money account where you give them dollars, they purchase gold, literally purchase gold and store it, and you can exchange. I mean, that's a relatively liquid way to hold gold. There's fees on the way in, there's fees on the way out, but from a little bit of study into one of those, which I don't have, it seems like it's worth it. You got to be working with numbers over $5,000, $10,000 to make it worth it, but it definitely seems like it's worth it. Gold last year, in its relative price compared with a dollar, was way up. And all, so if you were, if say you put $10,000 in a gold money account in the beginning of 2019, you'd probably have more like 13,500 today. That's pretty good inflation. That's pretty good price inflation on the asset of the metal. And you pay some fees on the way in, you pay some fees on the way out. However, that's real money. Now, the other thing to keep in mind too is the tax rate on that quote-unquote profit that you made on the gold is higher than if you were to be doing it in traditional financial assets. So that's something to look into too. And and the government, the IRS, is definitely going to call that increase in value a profit, or a capital gain, I guess, is by their definition. However, put in the S&P, which is an index fund or something, you would have made close to that amount of money, and your tax rate would have been less. But these are all things you can look into. But if you put it in cash, I mean, odds are the thing that you were going to buy with the cash is going to be more expensive. Now, we've seen where these things can change. So trucks over the course of 2019 have gotten a lot cheaper. However, you can buy more with $13,000 had you gotten a gold money account or bought the actual physical, than if you put it in cash, or if you got the 1% or 2% out of a CD or a treasury. So just things to keep in mind. And then, and also remember, let's say you made $3,500 in your gold money account. It's just the $3,500 that was above and beyond your initial investment that is taxable, not the whole thing. So, okay, all that being said, that's why I started the company. That's why I'm doing this out here. And it's been a rough transition. It's been rough on my family, my kids. It's hard not to be home. And my routine has kind of been, I'll go out for 3, I'll go home for a week or 2. I think the real trick here, if I keep doing this, if I keep this up, is going to be to time the market a little better. Go home when rates are crap. Stay home if you can afford it when rates are crap. And when they're somewhat predictable. And when they're high, hit it, and hit it hard, and hit it long. If right about the time I get to 9 days out or so, stuff gets a little stressful at home. And 9 days out is tough on me. However, there is a real stress level I have already seen when I have something to be home for, to try and make sure that I'm making as much money as I can while I'm out and being home on that right day. To time that load home is stressful. I have a lot of friends out here who really try and get home every weekend, and lucky for them, they live in areas of high freight, but with high freight volumes. However, I can't imagine trying to time that to be, the stress level to time it to be home every weekend would absolutely add another level of complication into this business. Make you more inclined to take a load for less than the broker's willing to go on it. And also, you're maybe jumping on stuff, I guess everything along that line. If you are not in a position to say no, then you cannot command the highest market price. And that is always a guessing game. And if you have to take the load, you have to take the load to keep moving. And if every week I have to keep moving in one direction, that really limits my options and my flexibility. You're always afraid somebody else is going to take it. Yeah, all right, well, that's 21 minutes. That's a long time. So I'm going to cut this one off, and I'm off tomorrow. I'm in the middle of my reset, so I dropped my trailer so that I can drive around PC. There's really not anything to do in this town, but I did see a Sonic, so I think I'm going to hit the Sonic, even though I have groceries. I'm going to hit the Sonic. I think I'm going to stay here tonight in the middle of Timbuktu nowhere. Show you around. Some farms. That's about it. Big old silo over there, and then there's this facility. Hopefully the young man who almost unloaded me today is right, and they're going to unload me early. I'll be plenty on time for my pickup tomorrow, and I am motoring to Denver. Got a rate for $2.70 a mile, which is fair. I mean, I got to get 4 hours free time at the pickup and 4 hours free time at the drop off, but for $2.70 a mile, I think that's fair. It's $2,000 to go 700 miles, not counting the deadhead, which is minimal, like 20 miles or so. Yeah, so all right, guys, look forward to catching up with you again soon. Thanks for watching this. Hit the like if you will. If you're still here, good on you. Subscribe,